Cam Caller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Why a stock take, I hear the call from the other side of the House. Well, it's just pertinent to consider that it was the prescience and thoughtfulness of those people 30, 40, 50 years ago who did a stock take of the resources that lay in the North and South Taranaki Bights and also on the land area of North and South Taranaki. $2.8 billion, Mr. Chairman, last year exported by this country in terms of oil and gas. $2.8 billion, our third biggest export earner. The Department of Conservation, as we've heard, manages and oversees the conservation of New Zealand's natural and heritage assets, the length and breadth of New Zealand. About a third of New Zealand's land area. Marine reserves, of course, and also wonderful freshwater resources. DOC administers a conservation estate in which flourish the towering tawa, the stately kauri, the glossy green-leaved karaka, the ravishing rhododendron, the tree that causes our foreshores to blaze with crimson fire every summer and capture the spirit of a New Zealand Christmas. I refer, of course, to the beautiful Pūtakawa. DOC has a role fostering recreation in areas under its management. It's thanks to DOC that we could all go up Panakiri Bluff on those lovely sturdy aluminium ladders to gasp our way into the hut and get a refreshing draft from the tank that exists up there at the top of Panakiri Bluff in the Uarewas, which embraces that dual lake Waikari Moana. It's thanks to DOC that a weary tramper has a superb hut right alongside the welcome flat hot springs, a perfect spot to rest after making the journey up the Copeland River or a traverse across the Southern Alps east to west through the Copeland Pass. We owe a great debt to DOC's program of vermin eradication, that a marked track runs down the true left of the Joes River in Fiordland. A huge advantage, as I found to my cost a little bit over the Christmas holidays, that the true right is virtually impossible owing to the density of the undergrowth in this seldom visited area of Fiordland. We have a lot to thank DOC for. The department is funded mainly through vote conservation, and in 2008-2009 it was in the order of $312 million, and they spent just about all but $2 million of that. One of the interesting things, however, they work closely with various agencies, not just government departments, community trusts, commercial operators, volunteer organisations. And in the department's 2009-2012 statement of intent, the Minister of Conservation adopted the term the conservation economy. I think it's an important concept to understand, the conservation economy, to highlight the importance of conservation to New Zealand's economy. The central premise is that conservation is an economic investment, not simply a social good. This premise builds on the already well-accepted social values of conservation that are reflected in the Conservation Act 1987. In particular, the intrinsic worth of natural and historic heritage. And it takes this further by showing the interdependence between nature's systems, social systems, and the economy. In its totality, conservation plays a critical role in validating the clean, pure brand that is the market advantage on which our producers rely. The benefit of conservation include carbon sequestration and storage, mitigation of flood risk, better freshwater quality and flows, soil retention, pollination and bioprospecting opportunities. In 2008-2009, the department began to develop a commercial framework and to review its processing of concessions. It is also developing relationships with the tourism industry and the Ministry of Tourism and collaborates on projects such as the Cycle Track project, which we have heard about earlier today in the House. The department also acknowledges that public conservation land affords opportunities for economic development such as electricity generation and transmission, and I'm particularly interested in the opportunities that private people can have from land adjoining conservation estate through which a river flows, that they may undertake themselves microgeneration of power from renewables. Thank you.
Members, the question is that the report of the Local Government and Environment Committee on the 2008-9 financial review of the Department of Conservation be noted. Those who are of that opinion will say aye. The contrary opinion will say no. The ayes have it. I understand the next financial review members wish to